you've seen my other videos, you probably don't need an intro or an explanation to this video, but we are reading House of Flame and Shadow. Full spoiler reading vlog. I know that I'm probably not going to get this done by the time the main population gets it done, just because I'm very slow at reading, but we got the book yesterday. I'm on page 125, so I thought I'd give you a little update. This is my most anticipated read of the year, as it is for so many other people, and I don't know. The book literally feels like it doesn't even feel real. It feels like a fan fiction that somebody made, because there's the ACOTAR world crossing over to this Crescent City world. So it just doesn't even feel like a real actual thing that Sarah J Maas wrote. But just wanted to give a little update. There's not much happening. Obviously, we left off, Bryce is in the ACOTAR world. Her and Nesta right now are kind of navigating this cave, because Bryce broke out of her little chamber, got into this cave. Nesta followed her, and then we just found out that Azriel's been following them. So they're kind of just walking through this cave. That's what they've been doing for the first 125 pages of the book. Okay. Then we have Tharian, who basically sold his, body and just his whole everything to the Viper Queen, who's in the meat market. So he is fighting for the Viper Queen right now. They're trying to find a way to break him out of there. And the Hind obviously she's a traitor. And she's working for the Asteri, but actually she does not like anything they're doing. And she has a little romance going on with Rune. So she came to Ethan, Flynn, Declan, and Tharian and basically said, I need you guys to help me break them out. In the next 3 days, they're going to get killed. Hunt, Baxian, and Rune are all being tortured by the Asteri, or by the Hammer, and the Hind's kind of having to play this, role that she doesn't want to play, that she's been playing for a long time, of just being this powerful, emotionless person. But she's basically telling them that in 3 days' time they need to meet her at the docks. They're going to get that ship from the second book. I think it's like the Ocean Queen's ship, because there's the River Queen. I think it's the Ocean Queen's ship. And they are going to go to the Asteri's place and break them out. So she needs Tharian to get out of the meat market, and she needs them to meet her there, and they're going to break them out. And that's basically all that we know right now. So not much has happened, but I'm excited to see what happens. It's like an 800 and something page book, so it's going to take me a while. But I just thought you guys might want to watch it and kind of see my reactions and what I think about the book as we're going through. So stick around and you'll find out. Chapter 20, page 204, and this book is getting so hard to understand by literally just one scene that happened. So I'm gonna try to explain it as best as I possibly can, but honestly, I read it last night and I don't know if I'll remember all the stuff that went down, but I'll try to explain it. If you guys read the book, you already know about it, so it is what it is. But first off, Ethan found a way to release Tharian from his bargain with the Viper Queen, and that is to go do one exclusive fight for the Viper Queen. And if he wins, then Tharian is released from his deal or whatever. And come to find out that basically he has to fight Sigrid, which is the werewolf that he has kind of taken up, and she is the Fender heir that nobody knew existed. So they have to fight, and the battle hasn't happened yet, but that's going to be a crazy battle. Then we have Bryce's POV, which is what I'm trying to tell you guys that I'm very confused about. So for the past however many pages, they've been kind of walking through this cave, and they finally found what her star was pointing her to, which was basically a prison cell, a prison thing. I don't know the word that they use because I can't remember. Already starting off great. But basically, it's an underground tunnel to the prison in the ACOTAR world. And a hologram projects of Selene. Okay, and basically Selene is the daughter of Thea, who Princess Thea is the princess that Bryce got her powers from, inherited her powers from. So Bryce is a descendant of Thea and Fionn, which was her husband. So when they were in the ACOTAR world, which obviously that's where everything started, was the ACOTAR world. The Asteri, or they're also known as the Daglan in the ACOTAR world, they were at war with everybody else. And then Thea and some other people, Thea was working under the Daglan, but she was kind of undercover, kind of like the Hind is now. And they overthrew the Asteri, the Daglan. And Princess Thea became like kind of the queen, or is it Queen Thea? I can't really remember. But she is the ruler of everything, her and Fionn. And she was getting kind of power hungry. The main thing that we need to know right now is that they used the horn, which is the thing on Bryce's back, the harp, the mask, and there's one more. But the harp and the mask is from the ACOTAR world. Like, we've already read about that, if you've read ACOTAR. And something with the cauldron is how they basically defeated the Asteri. So Thea locked these away where nobody could find them. And whatever. Basically, she got power hungry. Fionn wanted to they had 2 daughters. He wanted his daughter to take their place because they were getting older. Thea thought that wasn't right. She wanted all the power for herself. So she basically, her and Peleus, they killed off her husband. And they decided, since we've already conquered this world in ACOTAR, I'm just going to call it ACOTAR world because I don't really, like, Midgard, I don't know the whole, I can't keep straight which is from Crescent City and which is from ACOTAR. But, since they had already conquered that whole world, they were kind of getting bored with it, and she wanted to have more power, so she wanted to go to Bryce's land and conquer it. And so she kind of made a pact with Bergelius, who is the main Asteri guy, and he was like, yeah, you can come over here and conquer this world. Which, why would she listen to him? I don't really understand that, because she knows he's part of the Asteri. Whatever. She went there, and basically they tricked her. And her and Peleus, because Peleus was power hungry as well. And, yeah, and when they got there, there was all kinds of other beings, like the angels and whatnot, that had also been drawn there by the Asteri, because they thought that they could conquer their world, that world. But come to find out, the world was already inhabited by humans. And basically they slaughtered a lot of the humans. wanted to give an update on the book. I'm on page, I don't really know, 225, 250, I can't really remember. But we did get a little bit more of information. So kind of like picking up on where I last updated. Basically, Thea and Peleus went into those the Crescent City lands, and they basically were kind of blind, like they had all of this power over the humans, and they were killing all of these humans, you know, just like killing. And they started to kind of realize that Regelius and like the Asteria were taking over. So she got in touch with Adis through I think it's through the harp, that they can like open portals and stuff. Through the harp and the horn, they can open portals. And so she would talk to Adis, and they had like this whole plan of combining their armies to go against the Asteri. And she even kind of like, the humans kind of like were just watching them. Like they knew that they were like the lowest level, but they also knew that the Asteri were overpowering the Fae. So they were like kind of just watching it play out, and like, oh well, joke's on you guys, like you guys are not the higher ups here. But anyway, she finally gathered some humans to fight, and then she had Adis's armies from hell, and her people. So fought. She obviously lost. They were losing, and so Selene and Helena, which are her daughters, she gave them the horn and the harp, and said, you need to escape here right now, like we're gonna lose, like you guys need to get away. So she gave them those two items, and they were going to make a portal back to Akatar world, and where they originated from. And Thea died in battle. Helena got stampeded over, and Selene basically opened up the portal to this the world that they originated from, the Akatar universe, and people were like begging her to take them and like their children, and she closed off the portal, like left them all. So Selene's the only one left. She gets back, and she turns their huge palace into the prison. She uses all of her powers because her mom gave her the Starborn power. She turns this palace into a huge prison, which is the prison that we know of in Akatar. And basically, to like try to atone for what she's done, she locks up all of these monsters down in the prison, and basically just like, yeah, does that. Nesta and Azriel want to bring her back to Rhysand, and she's like, well, are you going to cut the horn out of my back? And Nesta's like, if it's going to save our people, then yes, we're going to do that, because they think that she'll open the portal back and the Asteria will come back through the portal. So, you know, they're going after her, and then all of a sudden she siphons all of this power, because Selene left all of this power in this prison, in the walls and stuff, and like in this star little platform that they're on. She siphons all of the power, and basically she becomes like 10 times more powerful, and the power is like stuck to her, so it won't go away. So she becomes super powerful. Her and Nesta and Azriel are kind of battling, and then she realizes that she's like messing up the whole prison, and they're like, don't do that, you're gonna let all of these prisoners out. And then we find out, she looks down and the floor is completely collapsed, and she looks down and she sees this ancient being woman trapped inside this crystal, and it was Thea's mistress, which I don't really know what that means. I think she taught Thea her stuff. Anyway, she was an original Asteri that's been trapped at the bottom of this prison. Nobody's known she's been there. And, yeah, so that's where they leave off. They obviously don't want to let her out. I'm sure she's going to get let out somehow. Okay. Then I forgot to mention that the Harpy got killed off in the last book by the Hind. But the Harpy, somehow they pieced her back together, and like she's coming back up. So the Hind has to hurry and break them out before the harpy, like, you know, tells them that she's a traitor. So she's working with the queen of the fire sprites to break Hunt, Rune, and Baxian out. It's a whole plan. I don't really know exactly what's happening yet because it hasn't happened yet. But she needs the fire sprite queen to help her. Then we have Ethan and Sigrid's fight. He ended up killing Sigrid. He ripped her throat out. Didn't mean to, but he did. And so they basically got the bargain. Tharian's out of there and they're leaving. And they look back and the fire sprites that they saved with Sigrid and Ariadne, which is the dragon shifter, they burnt up the meat market. They set it on fire. So they're leaving and the meat market's on fire. Like, they lit the meat market on fire, which I don't really understand that. I think Sigrid kind of set him up to kill her so that they would light the meat market on fire. If that makes any sense. That's what I was getting from it. But anyway, okay, that's a long explanation, but I just wanted to kind of get it out there. I'm loving the book. I'm not anywhere close to done, but I'm really loving it. I knew I would. So I'm in the most comfiest outfit, and I'm just going to read for a little bit and see what happens. So there's your little update. So, coming at you with a little update on the book. I don't really know if I'm supposed to, I feel like this is kind of annoying telling you like the whole plot of the book, but I feel like what else am I supposed to do on these vlogs? So if anybody has any advice, like, should I just be telling my feelings? Should I be telling the whole plot of the book? Like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm just gonna update you. Basically, Bryce, they killed the Asteri. They killed her. They're like, we're taking you back right now. Azriel and Nesta. And she goes, nope, nope, nope. Takes his little dagger, teleports back to Midgard. Somehow. With her new power that she has. Basically, she gets teleported where? Into the Autumn King's house, which is her father that she hates, which I don't know how that happened. And he's basically keeping her there so that he can find out some information. Not really like being violent towards her, but he's like, basically you have nowhere else to go. I'm the only one that knows that you're here and you're safe here, basically. So they're kind of trading information. He's been studying the different types of light because her light's different from the Asteri's light, I think. And basically trying to figure out a way, but it's kind of on the down low, like he hasn't admitted it, trying to figure out a way that she can defeat the Asteri. Lydia, the Hind, breaks out Rune, Baxian, and Hunt. And that's a whole intense scene. Breaks them out. And then we figure out that Arethe, I think that's her name, Arethes, the queen of the fire sprites, she lights the whole thing on fire. So that's kind of a trend right now. We're lighting things on fire. She's lighting up, like, the different stations where the guards are at, and then she lights up their whole, like, palace or whatever. I don't think that's going to really do it. I think that they're going to survive it because obviously we still have 500 pages. But that was kind of a distraction for them to leave. But they know that the Hind's working undercover basically now. I'm pretty sure, at least. So that's all we got so far. I'm going to read a little bit, chill out, and I think we're just going to do our stuff today, and I'm going to try to fit in some reading anywhere that I can. So, let's go. 375. They obviously got into the submersible, like their escape route, I guess. And Bryce left the Autumn King. She locked him in the basement somehow, put the little shackles on his wrists, and transported over to Hunt. So her and Hunt finally reunited. Her and the whole gang are finally reunited. So that's cool. I really like that. I was waiting for that for sure. But now they're just all in their little underwater submarine. The Hind, Lydia, almost didn't make it. She like died and came back to life. And we found out that she went to, I guess there's a school in this submersible, and her sons go there. She has sons. Nobody knows anything about that right now. She has twin boys. That's a little nuts. They just came out of nowhere. And right now Bryce is trying to like kind of negotiate with the Ocean Queen. We got the Ocean Queen. We finally got introduced to her. Trying to like see if she will help them defeat the Asteri. And the Ocean Queen's like, your best bet is to just open a portal back to Midgard, which is the Akatar world, and try to save as many people as you can. And Bryce is like, well, I'm not gonna like leave the other people to die. And so they got into it about that. But that is where we're at right now. And they're just kind of recapping to each other what's been going on. And Hunt and Bryce are finally reunited. I did want to make like a little comment. I've seen a lot of people when they were posting like their predictions of this book. Some things like that Hunt and Bryce weren't actually mates, like they were fake mates. And I don't know. I feel like they are real mates. Like, I don't know. I hope she doesn't do that to us. I really hope she doesn't do that to us. But I don't know. I feel like they're cute together. I like them. So I'm going to keep reading and we'll see what happens. Also, Bryce and everybody are headed to the Avalon Archives because there is some information about the blades and how she can use them to defeat the Asteri. So that's where the submarine's dropping them off right now. With you guys, I have no idea when I'm gonna finish this book. I feel like it's taking me a very long time just because I have so much stuff going on in my life, like school and just doing stuff around the house. But I can't really remember what all has happened. I know that I forgot to tell you guys about Ethan. He did not go with everybody else to rescue Rune and Hunt and Baxian. He left right before they were going to get on the submarine because he wanted to go do something to make it right. Basically, he went to the House of Flame and Shadow. There are different little fortresses for different houses, which I didn't know that. And he wanted to hire a necromancer to bring Sigrid back to life because he killed her, obviously. So he's just been having his own little side plot with Jessica. Because I guess she's second in command at the House of Flame and Shadow. We learned a little bit about her. And then they had Hypaxia come, and I guess she declared herself to House of Flame and Shadow because people are going after her. They dethroned her as the Queen of Witches or whatever. And her and Celestina are not together anymore because Celestina betrayed them. And so anyway, she goes to bring Sigrid back to life. She brings her back to life, and then I guess the Underking claimed her soul or something. So basically he turned her into a Reaper while they were trying to bring her back to life. So Sigrid's a Reaper now, which I don't really know what that all entails, but she basically serves the Underking. And she's basically not herself. So they're trying to find a way to undo that. which I don't really understand how they could possibly do that. They kind of explain it, but I still don't really get it. So they want to get a fire heart. No, not a fire heart, a Thunderbird, because they can use their powers to, I don't really know, help somehow make her have a second chance to come back to her own body. Okay, whatever. The only Thunderbird was Sophie Renest, who was in the last book, but she died. So Hypoxia wants to go bring Sophie Renest back to life, or use her power somehow to make Sigrid have a second chance at being in her own body. Okay, a little confusing, but anyway. And they are like, well, where is Sophie's body? And it's in Avalon, where all of our other characters are right now. And Tharian ended up coming with all of the other characters, even though he was not supposed to. He's got a target on his back from like 3 queens. And then he ended up marrying Flynn's sister, which, new character alert, she needed in the Avalon like thing, basically. Anyway, I'm not going to explain the whole thing. Basically, he had to marry her so that she could be safe. I'm not going to explain it all to you guys because I feel like I've over-explained so many things. But Tharian stepped up and he's like, I'll marry her. So now they're married. Random people that don't even know each other are married. Okay. Then we have, they're going into the caves. There's Team Caves and then Team Archives, and they're just going for a bunch of information on how to stop the Asteri. So yeah, I think that's it. They found out one thing, that there used to be a bunch of islands around Avalon, but now they're not there anymore. And it's just the main island. And that is coming into play somehow. So there's your little update, recap that nobody asked for. I'm going to try to get some time to read. Maybe if it's even like 20 minutes, I'll take it. And we will see what happens. So, a little intermission for my book mail. I just ordered this yesterday on Amazon, and it just came in today. So, we've got A Long Way Down by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This is the second to last book in the Calloway Addicted series. So, I just can't believe I'm almost done with it. I've been reading this for like a year or two. So, there it is. So exciting. And then we have another little intermission because I got the Cherry Twist Alani. I've tried the cherry slush and I don't like it. I don't really like cherry flavored things, to be honest with you, but this was really cute, so I decided I wanted to try it. It's better than the cherry slush, but it's still not my favorite. So I'm about to start homework, but I just wanted to give you guys like a little update of the book because it's been a while. But I'm on page like 450 or 5, I don't know, 570, 550, I don't know. And so Bryce and them were in the tunnels. They found out, or cave or whatever, they found out that it was almost an exact match to Celine's cave that Bryce went into in the ACOTAR world, which I thought there was going to be a lot more about these ACOTAR characters, but they haven't popped back up, so that's kind of disappointing. But anyway, so basically she found out that it's basically an exact replica, a little bit different, of Celine's cave, and so this is Helena's cave. And she found out that it was made all of black salt, which is how people communicate with the princes of hell. So she's like, well, let's just test it out. Like, I think that Helena was able to mind communicate with the princes of hell so that they could like communicate back when this war was going on. So it's Prince Peleus' tomb, but Helena basically was like, oh, this would be a great place for your tomb to honor you. And he was super conceited. So he's like, yeah, obviously, like whatever. But really, she made the tomb to contact Apollyon and Adis and Thanatos, which is another prince of hell. So she decides, Bryce is like, well, let's try it out. Let's communicate with these guys. And she's already kind of friends with Adis. So she's already talked to them. They've been a big part in this book, but they haven't really explained anything that's been going on. We've kind of been just waiting. So she finally, her and Hunt drink this water or whatever, and they're in they're in hell basically. But they're not actually in hell. They're ghosts. They come out as ghosts, but there's still a way to communicate with them. So they're communicating. Apollyon calls Hunt his son, which we're like, what? Because I don't think we know a lot of Hunt's background. We know his mom, I think. She was an angel, but that's about it. So we're like, what? And I'm on the part right where it's explained, like it's explaining that. So I don't really know exactly what happened with that. But basically, Adis, Apollyon, and Thanatos are there. And they're like, finally, you guys made it. And she's like, why haven't you guys told me? Like, what's been going on up until now? And he's like, you wouldn't have believed us if you didn't come to this conclusion by yourself. Doesn't really make sense to me, but okay. So she's talking to them. Apparently, Thea, she split her power up into 3 parts. One of them went into the sword and the dagger. One of them went into Selene. One of them went into Helena. Helena extracted that power out of the sword and dagger. I don't really know where she put it. I don't know. So when Bryce took that power from Selene's cave, she got, she's now 2/3 of Thea's power, because Thea descended her power down to Bryce. That's already one part. So now her light's changing basically. So she needs to get the other part, and once she has all 3 parts of the power, she's going to be able to wield the Star Sword and the Truth Teller to be able to defeat the Asteri. That's what I got from it. If it's not right, I'm not very sure. But yeah, so that's going on. There's a lot more information, but honestly, it's just, this is the main stuff that you need to know. Rune and Lydia are kind of having their romance. The Autumn King is back. Morven found the Autumn King. They were trying to stop Bryce. Bryce was like, nope. Did her little laser power. Just an avalanche came coming down in the cave, and they ran. And then she went to go contact Hell. But Morven has Flynn and Declan right now, like trapped. And then Rune is going into the cave to try to find them, kind of like following them, trying to find them. Another thing happened, in Ethan's point of view, a Fostel, I think is what it's called, Meadows, got bombed. Don't know who by. I'm not very sure, but a bunch of people are dead. And Bryce and Hunt and all of this whole group doesn't know that because they're in Avalon right now. So that's happening on the side. That's about all I know. If I forgot something, I'll probably add it in, but yeah, that's what's going on right now. I'm gonna keep reading, and I'll let you guys know if something big happens. To read a little bit more, but I got to page 600, so we have 200 left. And we got to part 3, but I did want to mention some things that happened in part 2. At the end of part 2, we did hear that Hunt was the demon prince's or whatever sons. No, he really wasn't. He was basically a test tube baby, I think. I'm not going to get into like the whole details of it, but basically 2 of the demon princes made him to literally serve the purpose as being Bryce's battery that can charge her up. Like, they made a whole bunch of them, and he was one of them. There's a whole background with it. Like, his dad was a scientist, and he worked for the Asteri, but he found out that the princes were doing it, so he got on with them, and he gave him his specimen, I guess, to contribute to make Hunt, and then his mom also. So, and then the guy was going to actually be his father and father him, but he got killed by the Asteri. Okay. But the Asteri didn't know that Hunt was this test tube baby. They just knew that his dad was working with the Princes of Hell. They didn't know exactly what he was doing, but they killed him for that. Bryce kills Morven. Rune kills their father, the Autumn King. It was a whole intense battle in the cave, which, that's crazy. I did not think he was gonna die. She sucks the power, the third of the power she finds in this star carving in the cave, so there wasn't a big search for that. She sucks the power out of that, and the whole land of Avalon just becomes lush and green, and it used to be super dreary, and it's just like she's completely renewed this land with her power, and she is basically the queen of Valburn Fae, or whatever, which I don't really know the difference between the Faes, but she is the queen of Avalon, because she killed Morven. Now we're kind of, Ethan and Hypoxia come to, obviously they were looking for Sophie's body. Bryce is like, we need to put that on hold. We're not looking for Sophie's body right now. We have to get to the Asteri. We have to open the portal, open the Northern Rift, so that Princes of Hell can come and help us fight and kill or get the Asteri, capture them, and then put them in this void of nowhere, which is created by the dagger and the Star Sword. She can do that. She can capture them into this little nothing space. So that's the plan. So she's like, you can't have Sophie's body right now. Like, it's probably under a bunch of rubble anyway, because she destroyed, like, the whole castle of Avalon when she got all this power. So anyway, Hunt decides, hey, maybe you can try to use some of my lightning. I don't know if it'll work, but you can try it. So he gives them a vial of his lightning. And Bryce is like, first, though, a big thing we need for you to do is we need to figure out how to get this parasite under control. Which, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the Asteri is basically putting a parasite in the water. And everybody's been drinking it, and it basically causes them to make the drop. They wouldn't have to make the drop if they didn't put the parasite in there. And basically, if they don't make the drop, their power will eventually kill them, is what I got from it. So they are trying to get rid of this parasite so that they can have the people be more powerful with their full power and rally some people against the Asteri. So Hypoxia is like this scientist girl. So she has been doing all sorts of stuff with that. She's trying to study that and figure that out. And then her and Ethan figure out that Reapers don't have the parasite because they are basically dead. They're like the living dead. So they do not have the parasite in their body. So that's kind of a new thing. I don't know where they're going with that. I'm guessing that they're going to bring Sigrid back for some sort of purpose. Just my hunch. Then back in Avalon, Bryce is splitting people up into the groups. She says, Ethan and Hypoxia, go back and figure this out with the parasite. Baxian, you need to stay here with all of these people. She brings her family and friends to Avalon because she knows that the mist for Avalon will be protected against the Asteria. The Asteria cannot come into Avalon because of the mist. So Fury, Juniper, her family, Cooper, which he was I can't remember his actual name, but he was Sophie's brother. So her and Bryce made her adopted brother. So her parents, Cooper, Fury, Juniper, and then we finally see who I've been worried about this whole time. What's his name? What is his name? Her little pet comes prancing around. Don't know where he's been. I guess he was with her parents. Not very sure about that. But anyway, she's gonna bring her parents with her to this place called Nina, which I didn't even know that was a place. And it's basically the best place that they can open up the portal for the people from hell. And obviously Hunt's coming with her. Flynn, Declan, and Rune and Lydia are going back to Lunathion, or that city, to, can't really remember what they're doing. But, yeah. So, that's what's happening right now. They're just all splitting up tasks, and Bryce is about to go to Nina to open this whole northern rift to get Hell in here so that they can fight with them. Shrinks is his name, by the way. I didn't forget his name. Okay. But anyway, so I'm gonna read. We're on part 3. We're almost done with the book. I've been reading this so slow. So we will see, and I'll update you guys. I'd give you a little update on Crescent City because a lot has happened and I need to catch you guys up to speed. Ethan, Hypoxia found a kind of cure for this parasite, and he chugged it and was like, I'll try it out. Got super strong. He's reached his full potential and just super strong, and then somehow he has ice powers now. A wolf with ice powers, okay. And he goes, I need to go to the wolves and tell them, like, the leadership, the way leadership is going needs to stop with Sabine, and we need to be good people, we need to support this city, blah, blah, blah. And even Danica was trying to do the right thing, and so he brought these papers of how Danica was studying the Fender line, and he was gonna say, like, maybe Sathya can be the new heir, or the new prime, I guess. Even though she's a Reaper, he wanted to give the wolves the option. So he goes to the cave, tells them all of this, and then Sabine comes out with Sathya and the astronomer, and is like, he killed her. Like, he killed her. Really? Like, you want this guy telling you what to do? Sathya is going to be my prime apparent, which means literally she's not going to be the prime. She's going to be the heir. So that once Sabine dies, she can be the prime. And I think she's been kind of brainwashed by Sabine and the astronomer. So she's kind of just sitting there. Then the prime, the old man, comes out and he goes, no, that's not how it's going to happen. Sabine, I'm stripping you of your title. Ethan's the new prime. What? Basically, like he was saying, because Ethan told all of the wolves about this parasite and what the Asteria's doing and how they need to stand up. And the prime was like, I've always suspected that this is what happened, but Danica tried to figure out the truth, and the Asteria killed her, and now you're trying to, tell us the truth and help us be better, so you're going to be the prime. And then Sabine kills him, kills the Prime, kills her dad. Really. And before Ethan can try to help him bring him back to life, Sathya goes over to him and sucks his soul out of his body because she's a Reaper. And then I think she kills the astronomer too. She sucks the soul out of the astronomer. Okay, whatever. Then Sabine is coming for Ethan. And Ethan's like, nope. Kills her. Like, what? Like, all these people are dying. I don't understand what's happening. And then everybody basically bows down to him and is like, Ethan's the new wolf, head wolf. Okay. Then we go back to Tharian. Tharian goes to the River Queen, who obviously hates his guts. And they get into an argument. Obviously she wants to kill him, but she's like, it seems like you have changed. I will harbor all of these people down in the ocean to protect them from the Asteri when this whole war goes out. Okay, there's his POV. Then we go to Bryce's POV. They are in Nina, and they are going to open the Northern Rift. And so it's her, Hunt, and Ember and Randall, which is her parents. And they find out the Harpy's there. And the Harpy has been brought back to life by Hunt's lightning that the Asteri used, but she has no soul, nothing, like she's dead in the eyes, like her whole mission is to just kill people, and she has no like thoughts or feelings. So she doesn't come out until a second. Bryce opens the Northern Rift and she goes, hi Nesta. Okay, didn't know that was happening, but she opens the Northern Rift, talks to Nesta, barters with her, and is like, I need the mask. And Nesta's like, what? And she's like, I need the mask to be able to raise up the dead to fight the Asteri. And Nesta's like, no, I'm not giving you the mask, whatever. And then Bryce is like, I will give you my parents as a way to tell you that I'm going to return the mask. Like, I will barter them. But she's also doing it so that her parents can be safe from the Asteri and that there's no way of the Asteri getting them. Nesta finally gives the mask away. Bryce pushes her parents in the portal and closes it really quick. So her parents are in the Akatar world. Then she opens the thing again, and Adis comes out, and all of his armies from hell come in, and whatever. Celestina and Naomi and can't remember the other guy's name. They come in, and Hunt's like, what? Like, why are you here? You betrayed us, whatever. And she feels bad, and she's trying to reverse what she's done. And Hunt's like, no, I'm gonna kill you. So he almost kills her. Somehow, he slashes the little, whatever, tattoo he has on his brow. Takes it off, and then he's got like full power, and he slashes off the other guy's crown too. I can't remember his name. And they're like, what, how'd you just do that? And I guess he just could do that, like with his hell power that he has. Almost kills Celestina. Bryce is like, it's not your place to do this, like we've already killed enough people, it's fine. And then Celestina agrees to work with them, which her part really isn't that important, okay? So I'm not going to explain it. Then Bryce gets a call from Rune saying that Pollux has taken over the depth charger and has taken Lydia's kids hostage, and he's going to Avalon. And, like, gonna start this war. And so Bryce is like, we'll be there in a second, and we are going to have some friends coming with us, which is Hell's Army. Then we go to the Bone Quarter because Ethan wants to talk to Connor for a little bit, which I don't really understand, whatever. He wants to talk to Connor. So him and Hypoxia go. And Jessica's in the background somewhere. I don't know where she is, but she's there. Talks to the Underking, I think that's his name. And he's like, I'll give you 7 minutes to go talk to Connor. talks to Connor, they have a heart-to-heart, whatever. He gives Ethan this black bullet, but he can't talk because the Underking doesn't allow them to talk. Whatever. And Ethan is just going all out rage mode, like, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's a whole different person. And the Underking's like, your time's up. And he's like, no, actually it's not. And they get into it, and he's like, I'm sick and tired of this, like, you using their souls, blah, blah, blah. Kills the Underking. Or freezes him, and then Hypaxia kills him. Like, he shards everywhere. Then Hypaxia, so now Jessica comes out, and she's like, since you killed him, you are the new Underking. Not the Underking, but you reside over this bone quarter. And she's like, I don't want that. And she's like, well, too bad. So Hypaxia is the new whatever. And then she allows Connor to speak. And Connor says, we have used, me and all of the other dead people, have used our second light, and we've put it in this bullet for Bryce to use. There was that one gun that she used. I can't remember if she used it to kill Micah, was his name. They have a whole bullet. They put but when they give their second light, that means they're done. They've crossed over. They aren't there anymore. And Ethan's like, no. And then Connor's like, I'm already gone. This is what we want. Everybody's giving you their second light so you can put it in the bullet, and we can defeat the Asteri. Like, we can put an end to this. So he passes over the arch, and their little seed of light comes in, and Ethan puts it in this bullet. And that's where we stop. And I'm sorry, that was literally a 10-minute long explanation, but I had so much stuff to say. So I'm going to read it. I got like 130 pages left, but I've got to do some homework. So I'm going to finish it sometime this week. So sorry for the long explanation, but there you have it. Has done it again. I'm gonna give this book a 5 stars. Surprise to everybody, I know. Just a little recap of the end. We got some crazy fight scenes. We learned that the Hind is a shifter, or Lydia, I guess we call her now. There was a lot of stuff that went down that I can't really remember all that I told you guys, but basically Bryce ended up, this part was kind of confusing, but she ended up trapping all of the Asteri in a black hole. And then she herself got sucked into the black hole. And then everybody's like, oh, she's gone, like she's dead. And Hunt's like, no. So he gets into one of the mech suits, and he feels some presence, and it's Shahar, which was his ex-lover. Her soul, her body, is in the mech suit, and she's like, get in the mech suit. Like, she can't talk to him, obviously, but she's like, I'll help you out. So he dives into the black hole, and literally pulls Bryce out. Okay, Bryce is dead, and whatnot. And then they're like, wait, we have one idea. And Jessica trades her life for Bryce's, because Jessica has lived a very long life. So she decides that she's going to trade her life for Bryce's, and we get this whole end scene with all of the characters that have died. And like them sitting on a mountaintop in the sun and everything, because that's where they go now. And I don't know, I thought that that was a little crazy that Jessica just gave her life away. But yeah, they defeated the Asteri. All is well. They're trying to come up with new government systems. Lydia kills Pollux. because he had her children captive. Okay, her and Maroon are like, they're mates. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened, and if I do think of something, I'll plug